Last meeting, and really good to see you all here this morning. It looks like 9 o'clock is a pretty good time. Everybody's here. We're still waiting for Stan. Hopefully he'll show up. Maybe he's not going to make it today. We shall see. So let's call the meeting to order. Fernando, will you do the roll, please?
Yes, sir. So we have Chair Ed McCurvey,
Here.
Member Stan Green, who isn't present at the moment, Member Larissa Fry,
Here.
Member David Horowitz,
Here.
Member Katie Adams Pewitt,
Here.
Member Robert Taylor,
Here.
Member Sam Zenz.
Here. Thank you, Fernando. All right, so what I'd like to do now is we'll do this different today. We're going to do the flag salute. So I'd like everybody to stand up. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, this is the time for oral communication. This is the opportunity to address the Downtown Porterville Committee on any scheduled matter. Unless additional time is authorized, all commentary will be limited to 3 minutes per individual, no more than 15 minutes total. Is there anyone that'd like to address the committee?
I'd like to.
All right.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I want to talk to you guys about three
Can you
things.
state your name?
Right, my name is Josh Flowers. Address is on record, so if anybody needs that. Yeah, I want to talk about three things. One is I had opportunity to watch the meeting last time. I also want to talk about the selection of this committee. And then lastly, I want to talk to you about Harold and the purple crayon. Sounds fair enough? So this is the idea that I want to talk about. So in the last meeting, what I saw, I was a little concerned because I feel like we're I don't know, I was hoping that the committee would take a different shape. It wasn't about more regulations and how we do things. I was thinking this is about creativity and what kind of culture you guys want to bring to the downtown. I see Porterville, and this is just my view, and this is why I think it's so great that all you guys are coming together, is we could be a travel destination. We're out here in the middle of the east side of Tulare County. They're working on the mighty 190. We have traffic getting ready that they want to start pushing this direction. So the question is, what will draw people to be a tourist destination, right? So what can we do in order to attract people to Main Street? How do we become a destination spot? And so that kind of brings me to why I was so excited about this committee, is because each and every one of you share a common thread. You're all entrepreneurs. You're all visionaries. You've all been able to take a building with 4 walls and turn it into something special. You've made restaurants out of it. You've made jewelry that's amazing. Your storefront's absolutely amazing. You've got the finest chocolate around, and you sell the vision to everybody. So you guys are the visionaries here, and this is why it's so exciting about what is possible. So I'm gonna give you some ideas. Harold and the Purple Crayon. You guys ever watch that? Anybody watch that? Okay, maybe I'm the only one then. But the idea is that the whole premise of the book is that the guy has Harold has a purple crayon. And whatever he draws and imagines, it can be created. And so that's the power of it. This is all imagination. And you all have sitting here right now the ability to reimagine the entire downtown culture of Porterville. And I want to leave that with you, is that, you know, I'm crazy. So this, you know, things I come up with, I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to bring people down here. What's the draw? What's the hook? How do I get them here? I'm not worried about my business yet. I'm worried about how to get traffic here first, and then I'll worry about how to draw them into my business. So I'm thinking backwards. I'm just thinking, how do I get them off the highway and downtown? And so some of the things, you know, I mean, you have technology now that's available that we've never seen before. You got 3D projectors that are absolutely amazing. Dubai uses them. We could do something like that. You know, the whole draw for the mighty 190 is the giant redwoods, right? So I was thinking, like, man, how do you take this? And so I was thinking Larissa's storefront, for example. Man, what if you had different you know, projectors shooting down at the ground, and then all of a sudden a whale pops up or something, right? And this is a draw that people come down and go check out because it's something new, something different. And then you squirt them with water, like a 4D experience, right? You have to have fun with it and make it an experience. Maybe we have a giant bell that rings at a certain time of day, and that's when the show starts. And there's something different that people are drawn to. You know, got a little crazy last night. I said, man, about giant steak puff marshmallow man coming down, you know, down during the parades. Can I ask for a quick extension?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just like I said, my timer shut. Just real quick, I wanted to, I'll close it with this. But then I started thinking about, man, we are the giant redwoods. What about the Paul Bunyan, bringing that back? Maybe that's our caricature. You know, maybe we create something to where we have a giant Paul Bunyan that people come and watch, and then we figure out how to leverage that. You know, the abilities, whatever you guys created, right? And you guys have a lot of fun with this process. And I would want to suggest, don't get into the minutia of trying to find more restrictions. Just find what draws people and makes this different, and make people want to come to Porterville. So with that, I'm gonna leave you guys with the purple crayon here. So have fun today. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you very much. All right, terrific. I think Josh is the only visitor we have today. Does anybody else want to address the committee? Okay. I have the agenda put together. Fernando, thank you for putting this together. Nice job summarizing. On number 2, probably going to push that down to the end. So just make a note of that. And I'm going to, first item on here is to approve the minutes from last meeting. And then I'm going to add a 1.5, which is going to be some brainstorming. And I'm going to just take it in a different direction for a few minutes. But let's first go through, is everybody okay with the minutes from the last meeting? Does anybody want to make a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
And we have a second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's approved. All right, so I would like to take a moment as a 1.5, which is not on your agenda, to talk to you guys about a few things. Take you into the corporate world for a minute. I'd like to do a little brainstorming with you guys. Last week, we had the opportunity, or last month, we had the opportunity to get to know each other a little bit. And I think that what we really want to emphasize, and I think it was said well by our guest that was here, Mr. Flowers, that you guys all have some particular strengths that bring strength to this team, and they're all unique and different. And it's really a pleasure to have you guys here and to start this process. Every time you have a team, whether it's a team at your business or a team wherever you can think about it, there's always a team dynamic. So I want to talk about this for a minute. There's always a moment where we're forming the team. We're still in that process right now. And we're going to start norming this team as we go along. And forming is usually getting to know each other and trying to figure out, you know, who's who and what our boundaries are. Norming is also part of that. And we start to have regular meetings and regular conversations and start to build trust with each other. Storming is when we really start connecting and we start doing some things together and driving performance together. And it leads right into performing. And so these are just team dynamics. When you have a new member to the team, it kind of starts over again. When you have a new mission, it starts over again. Just general ideas, just to get you guys thinking about this. We're going through a process of this. And so just awareness, right? I want the public to see what we're doing here too. We're going to be radically transparent about what we're going to do in our team. And I want to talk about a couple of things. We'll go back to that. Maybe we'll put this up on the wall. A lot of times to keep us grounded, we want to talk about what the mission is. We want to talk about what the vision is. And we want to talk about our values. This is just setting the table, right? Setting the foundation. The mission of this team is to reimagine downtown. We just had a great input from someone from the public that came in and said, here's my ideas. So the question is going to be for this committee, what is our vision? What is our vision of downtown? This is beyond the minutia and the basics. What does this team want to put on the table to recommend to the city council as a vision for, and a mission and a vision for downtown? Our mission is to get it done, but we have to have that vision. So we're going to be spending some time fleshing out the mission, creating the vision, and then we want to center this on values. Values is always very general. What I would tell you guys, this is very simply family value. So everything that we do is centered around the family. There might be some areas where we go through and we talk about what we might do specifically for kids and what we might do specifically for adults, but we want to center our values around family, right? I'll keep that in mind. So mission, vision, values. Now we can write some statements on these if you like, but I'm just going through this so we're understanding it together. All right. So I'm going to start with this. I wrote them out of order when I wrote them down this morning. One of the things that I thought when I was imagining this, even before I ran for office, was what would we do to get downtown in order so that we can start to create a new mission or new vision, or restore a mission, or develop on that mission. And it's basically the foundation. I didn't want to go in leading this committee and start talking about replacing the trees, or fixing the sidewalks, or changing the light bulbs, or painting I want all that stuff to be done. I would really like to see this team be focused on how we achieve the goals and the missions that we set for ourselves and for the city and recommend to the council, so that we can create something of the vision that gentleman just came in here. Let's think big. Let's think out of the box. Let's not be so focused on just cleaning the sidewalks that we miss the forest for the trees. And so I will give you this update. We're about to finish all of the road work on the main part, and we'll look at the maps at the end on the main part of downtown, which is between Morton and Olive, which is great. We're going to have all the trees in. We're going to fix the area that's been nagging at us for a generation, where JCPenney's used to be. And we're going to fix that area, and we're going to actually have trees that are consistent. We have now painted all of the poles that we own. And I want to make this distinction. We own the traffic signals and we own the bollards around downtown, but we don't own the lights in between. And this is important to just understand. It's just basics, right? Edison owns those lights. They're street lights. So we're working with Edison. We had a meeting with Edison, and we're working on a partnership to not only to make sure those lights are all working, but to make sure they look good. And so we're going to be working to get all of those painted similar to what we just painted on the bollards and the traffic signals, so that it's consistency all the way down. Our focus initially is going to be between Olive and Morton, but we do want to open up this idea of a vision of where we want Porterville's downtown to go, to include south all the way to the river, which will conclude down near Main Street where the Parkway begins. And it also will be connected to where the Butterfield stage is going to end. So that's something that we'll add in later on. I want you guys to be thinking bigger than just this area between Morton and Olive. I also want to think about north. And it's not going to be the same as this central piece between Morton and Olive, but if we go Morton north to Henderson, there's a different dynamic. And so there are different zones, different dynamics, but I want to be inclusive on this, because we talked in our last meeting about how we will look at the maps and not only consider this stretch of road in those three segments, but also how wide it will be and what the zoning would be. That's a little bit down in the details. We'll talk more about that, but I want to say the foundation of this and setting expectations before we start brainstorming is just getting you up to speed. Fix the roads, fix the lights, painting the lights. We got our law and order moving in the right direction. We've got our homelessness under control. We have these things. These are the foundational elements, so that we don't, as a committee, have to worry about these things as we create a destination downtown. That way, this committee will have the most time to work on the things that will matter most to succeeding in that mission and that vision and for the city. And really excited to be able to come to you and just lay that foundation, that we want to make sure that it's local. We want to make sure that anything that we do down here is a win-win, because if there's somebody that's doing manufacturing in those other areas of Main Street, we want to support them. We want to respect those positions. We don't want to try to make everything so cohesive that it's the same as the center, but we also want to make sure that we're respectful of everyone else. And not to say, use the word inclusive in the right or the wrong way, but to say that there needs to be unity of purpose. There needs to be some unity in what we want to do. And we want to make sure that maybe we do some zones up north that are more geared towards one thing, and some zones in the south that are geared towards another thing, but it needs to be win-win. And what I mean by that is, whatever we do, that needs to feed them, and their business needs to feed our vision too. So we have to go out as a community, as a downtown committee, to drive the conversation about what we're trying to do. And we're going to have to market it. We're going to have to talk about it. And we're going to have to get people centered around these ideas that we come up with in this committee. That way it has a chance to be self-sustaining and something that will grow on its own, because we're going to empower everyone to be part of this vision. It's not going to be one group or one committee on the outside that might have a head start in an area. It might be new people, it might be individuals, but we want to try to serve everyone to the best of our ability to meet the mission. What's going to center us is that mission. So what I want to do is I want to talk with you guys today for a few minutes. We'll do some brainstorming, and I want to talk about the mission and the vision that you guys have, and we'll do it in a round robin way. And then once we flesh out the goals and the mission that we want to have in this committee, then later on, we can start talking about how we do those things. Okay? But we need to start by the foundation, laying out the road and the sidewalk and the lights. But now we're going to talk about what we want to do to get business down here and drive the narrative. And we have to do it in a way where we walk and chew gum, because there's stuff already in operation. The Redo It committee's already got a block party. There's some things, and everybody has certain ideas. Those have to meld into this. And so we don't want to discourage anyone that's already working downtown. And we don't want to just say someone already has an idea. We want to set the tone for everyone, something to achieve as a community, the higher goal. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today in the brainstorming. So we'll work on execution of the ideas, but let's work on what those ideas are. So I'm going to use some standard brainstorming. The way that we would do it in the corporate world, very simple. You do it in the classroom. And I would just say what I'd like to do is just give everybody a chance to talk about what is your main goal or your main mission that you think will drive us towards the unity that we just discussed. To get the vision of what we want downtown, and we're going to put them on here and we're going to vote on them, and we're going to get the ideas out here and start fleshing out our goals. So I want to start right here with the city manager. Richard, what is your number one thing that you'd like to see in downtown?
Safe space, safety.
Okay, safe spaces. All right. Stan, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's the number one
Thank you. I'm
thing?
glad you did, Ed.
Yes, sir.
I was sitting here waiting on bated breath for you to get to me next. Yeah, that's a tough one.
All right, so let's do it. This is the rules of the road. It's gonna be, if you don't have one right away, pass.
I'll pass.
We'll come back to you. Larissa, do you have one?
Unity.
Unity? How about if I put unity of purpose? Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. Katie,
I'm gonna pass.
you gonna pass? Right.
Flourishing businesses.
Successful and flourishing businesses. Hope it's still there, right? Dan, what did you like to see?
You took up two of mine already, safe spaces and flourishing businesses. That would be the empty buildings that we have now on Main Street.
Okay.
I'd like downtown to be a little more inviting, maybe some music playing on the streets. You got a lot of people that walk up and down Main Street all day long. There's these games they play on their phones, Pokemon, you ever seen that? They walk up and down the street and catch things. Yeah, I bet it'd be nice to listen to a little bit of music on walking down the street.
Entertainment,
I agree with that.
music.
100%.
I was singing Hotel California, walking down Visalia Main Street yesterday.
Thank God we missed.
Quality?
Equality.
Equality. Well, we'll come back and flesh that out a little bit. Sam, so is this do entertainment, music? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So it needs to be inviting is what you said,
Inviting.
right? Inviting. I just want to make sure I get this on here, Katie. Hold on.
Okay. Voice of music's interesting too, as Rob said. I saw you one night and they had music playing. I sang the song for a week. It's honestly, there's a lot to that.
I found 80s and 90s.
It's got a vibe to it, right?
It does.
It's a vibe. All right, David, what do you think?
Well, I think what I'm interested in is probably gonna go along with several of those things. I would like downtown to be more family friendly.
Okay.
When I moved here, the thing that attracted me to Porterville, Bob Fields brought me here to be his jeweler. But it was really cool because like in November, the ladies would line both sides of Main Street with little booths of their homemade goods. Could be baked goods, could be handcrafted things to sell for the Christmas season. And it's stuff that didn't compete with any of the businesses. So it was cool. And it was made for a real family atmosphere downtown. Families would come walk around while they're looking at those booths, and they come into our stores, and there's our opportunity to do our business with them. I'd like to see more festivals. We used to hold a lot of festivals downtown.
Okay, so you got the second one for David.
I would like to see, like, we used to hold a music festival in October. And we get local bands to come and play, and So all the side streets, right where all the side streets were, we set up little stages for the bands to play. And I think that goes along with what you're planning with your business, which I thought was really cool when you said that last time. I hadn't heard that before.
Is the farmer's market a festival?
A farmer's market would be great if we could get it to work.
Is that a festival?
It would be. I
Okay,
mean,
you're just gonna put it as an example.
it's an event, but yeah. You know, we used to hold a car show downtown. Now they moved it out to Veterans Park, because they want to make some money, the car club. And I guess we weren't allowing them to make any money when they did the show downtown. But it brings a lot of traffic, and traffic is important because once they come down and for that festival, and then they see, oh, wow, there's this cool shop where we can buy crystals and
And
stuff.
regularly events, regularly.
Yeah, I want to do them.
Regular.
Like at least once a
I
month.
like the way you're in.
I like one,
Regular events.
yes, no, at least, these were yearly occurrences like the Irish Festival, that we now call the Spring Festival. But we used to do a lot of events like that. I thought it was really cool. It brought a lot of people downtown and it got exposure for our businesses. Like I say, on those days when those events are happening, I don't sell a lot of jewelry on those days. People aren't coming down to buy a $2,000 diamond ring when they're coming to get popcorn with their kids. But they come in and the wife gets her jewelry cleaned and then she sees something and then 4 months later, the husband calls me because it's his anniversary or her birthday or whatever. So those events I thought really were cool downtown and brought a lot of traffic.
Okay, excellent. Now, you give him coffee and he gives us two. Piggybacked on there too. Good job.
Well, he gets to.
Okay, 1 second. Let's get back to Katie because she passed. What equality? You want to flesh that out? What do you mean by that?
So I'm going to revert back to last meeting when we were talking about the empty buildings and maybe penalizing out of town landlords. Well, we have local landlords that have empty buildings too. So I think of whatever we determine to be the guide, it has to flush out across the board. And I think it goes back to, I'm glad you brought up doing the goals today, because I was gonna ask, what are our goals?
Right.
Because honestly, I have, a list here of 10 business empty buildings, or maybe not empty buildings, maybe they're occupied buildings or rented buildings, but they aren't open during business hours. Or they aren't open. I know some that just put curtains across their windows and they don't attract anything downtown. So what is the goal here to, I can rent a building, put a curtain across it, and City of Porterville doesn't know if it's rented or not.
So I'm thinking, and I put consistency on here, but that may not be the right word. I'm thinking participation or
Participation's not necessarily a bad. Just
how do we get I'm trying to describe it in a way that we get everybody focused on downtown.
Well, it sort of pairs off of Rob's flourishing business, successful businesses. If it's a flourishing business, I think it needs to have business hours that attract business,
Okay, so how
That
about
attract
support
people.
the mission?
supports the mission.
Okay, so that's a little bit vague, but I think we can flesh that out a little bit more. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And how we do it will be a challenge.
It will be a challenge because, landlords can put any tenant in and not maybe say, okay, I need your business open from 10 to 6, at least 5 days a week. Or
Yeah,
4 days a
that's one advantage malls have over downtown districts. When you go to a mall, you know that the mall's open from say 10 in the morning till 9 in the evening. You know every store in that mall's open.
Yeah.
Whereas downtown, you're right, some open late, some open early, some stay late, some close early. It just really depends on.
So this is
the
like,
business owners. And the hard part about that is in a mall, when you rent your space, you sign a lease where you agree to all these things. Downtown, we're all a bunch of individuals.
And the building owners are individuals, so you can't put
Getting
one
everybody.
cohesive lease together that says if you put a tenant in a building,
It has to be open these hours.
it has to be open hours, or it has to bring,
You would think if somebody's gonna open a business, though, they would be open.
Well, interesting, I sent my sister around yesterday delivering those flyers. And 6 businesses on my side of the street were closed in the middle of the day. And I get it. I'm a business owner. There are times I close earlier. I'm closed right now if nobody showed up at 10 o'clock. It's very hard to keep your doors open, but yesterday in the middle of the afternoon, 6 businesses on my side of the street were full. Which is it, I find that interesting, but how do you deal with that?
I think it's a challenge, but if I'm gonna get to Richard in just a second, because I haven't forgot about you. I like this idea. I wrote it on here as a collective idea because what David's point about, you know what you're expecting. So setting expectations on hours of downtown, but it's gonna be complicated because you need to have some focus times like AM and PM. I think the idea from Josh Flowers was if we had a bell that signifies happy hour in the evening or something where everybody does something. You could even do that on regular days. That's an idea of a focus time, right? What Larissa's bringing up is the challenge of everybody's unique business, but maybe within the family of businesses that there are certain businesses that you can expect to be open by 8 and some by 10 and, it's things like that. That's kind of a longer term goal, I think, but I'm just trying to flesh out how we might, narrow that down. And then we can market around those things. So when we do the block parties and we do those things, that's a focus. But if we have something that's every day downtown, or something like that, I think it kind of puts us in that mode where people are more apt to come down here because we're setting some expectations. There'll be something for them.
Maybe kind of a unique theme. We talk about malls. The other thing malls get to do that downtown doesn't is sort of choose the type of businesses that go in them. Now, if we had more of a unique theme, kind of a unity of purpose, I guess, that the building owners could buy into, then maybe we can, maybe they could have some guidelines from us on the type of business we would like to see go into that space.
I think that's a great point. So we got a great list brewing here. I'm going to go to Richard next, but we'll flesh these out and then we'll kind of create the framework of what we like to see that moves us to the goal and to the vision. Some of them we'll be able to do right away. Some of them may be longer term, but we'll determine that in future meetings.
Oh, Vice Mayor, I just want to bring up an item that you brought to council a couple of meetings ago about incentivizing businesses downtown. And it was more general incentivizing a local business, but I think there needs to be a support system for Main Street businesses in some fashion, either say incentive for a reduced sales tax or a grant program, but some way to incentivize and support the downtown businesses.
Yeah, like I said, back when Puffaker was the city manager, they had a grant program for redoing the facades of the building. And which they would give like a $25,000 grant, but there were rules and regulations of what you could do. But it kind of was trying to bring downtown where our facades all kind of patched up and were uniform. So something like that might be a good thing too, especially if we're talking about all the buildings. So if we had a grant program where owners of these buildings could go get some grant money to help renew the facades, that would be a great thing.
Okay, I like this idea, and I will tell you guys we have an update. So we just met, the cannabis committee just met on Monday, and we went through our first wave of grants. So we have made grants available for nonprofits and small businesses, and there are a number of them are going to be receiving some money from them shortly to do that very thing. Now, those are limited to 5,000, and right now, I think we're well within the boundaries of what we had set, but we're going to give out nearly $100,000 in grants by this fall, so people can do those types of things. And so we have that program developed. It's kind of modeled, I think, off of the old the process that you described. But we can do more than that. But I want to let you know we do have some things already in the hopper. We have some local businesses who already have asked us for and qualified. And so that's moving. Now we probably can do more. And I really like this because it's an incentive. It's an incentive that moves towards the mission. So great comments. Just want to round that out and say we do have some things. And we want to build on our strengths here. So wherever we have something, let's figure out, hey, this works, let's keep this, or this works, let's build on that. So we can do those things too. Richard, thank you. Did that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Stan. Got the big idea.
I'm almost blank yet, but this is something that may not, I don't know if it'll fit in here or not, but like a theme of, like downtown murals,
Okay,
you know, that kind of tied to the history of Porterville. And I know that takes money, I don't know, or maybe there's people that do that. You know,
Give me a paint bucket, I'll go. Got paint the
What do you-
wall.
You got a purple.
you're gonna pay like how you do. Yeah, we got a purple crayon right here.
It is good though.
Howdy doody.
It is an attraction or
You know, there is a lot of history downtown
There
that
is.
we need to tap in on too. A good example is my property, which when I bought it, I didn't know this. It wasn't until the city came to me in '03 to reenact it, but my building is where the gunfight with Jim McKinney started. So my building was Scotty's Chop House Saloon. Scotty Calderwood owned it, and that's where the gunfight, Jim McKinney started shooting people that night before he left town, and
Yeah, see, the only thing that commemorates that is just a plaque on.
and it's wrong.
Yeah, I haven't really read, I just know it's there.
It's wrong in the location where it says.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
it's on the corner of Putnam and Main.
Yeah, but it also says it's your building, which is wrong. It was my building where it happened.
What happens, it's got a shop house, but the guy killed was Billy Lynn, which was his best friend.
Right,
And they found him bleeding after he got shot. on
right, second and, oh,
They
yeah,
took him up to the palace operator on, and that's where he died.
right,
you know,
right.
There's a book called Shotguns on Sundays.
Yeah.
yeah, I have that book. I'll bring it in. I've been reading through Jeff Edwards' books too. So there's a lot here. I want to go around until we start getting passes, but I added, and this is very good, Stan, we'll work on that. I added cleanliness.
yeah.
I want it to be really nice and clean downtown.
I can go with the alleyways. Well, alleys are disgusting.
They are.
People dig in the trash cans, they throw it all on the ground.
I can't keep my trash can area clean.
No.
It's a mess right now, no matter what I
Behind
do.
the palace, it's a nice place for everybody to use the bathroom, behind the subway back
Does it
there.
smell like a
It smells like.
peeing all over the place back
No,
there?
it smells like poop. It's bad.
It's bad.
Okay,
It's
so
not experience on there, because what Josh said is correct. People will go to where they have an experience.
right, an experience. Okay, I like that. Did I put that on here?
No, I like this.
Yeah, kind of the
I
entertainment.
like this big party thing. We also used to have an art farm day. That we did.
They did a ghost walk. Ghost walk.
That too, because of all the buildings and the history of the buildings. In fact, we had the ghost people come to my store. I've never been a big ghost guy, but they showed up at 6 o'clock one night. We hung a curtain in my front door. And they were in my basement, they were in my back room, and at about 9 o'clock, we came out to the front room, and I'm sitting, nobody's within 25 feet of that door. And there's a woman with her amulet, and she's going, and she's like, for those that are non-believers, I can feel your presence, but can you just give us a sign to let us know you're here? And like on cue, that curtain fell. And the hair on my neck stood up, because I'm like, what the hell?
Wow,
You see the
okay.
line up there.
Freaking out. My son and my wife swear we have a ghost in the building.
Okay, so I put walks on here, art, ghosts, history, adventure. I am meeting with the Daughters of the American Revolution, and they're having an event coming up at Constitution Week. And we're talking about putting flags up and down Main Street. And we're talking about historical flags, which is what they are going to be doing in their Constitution Week. And maybe with partnership with the museum to have some docents to walk people up and down to learn history of the flags. And there's some folks from the schools, especially the elementaries, that would like to be part of that
Be cool.
and learn some history, right? Those are the kind of things that I think fit in this, and we can do more of those things. And then we bring the schools in and they get credit for history too. And they bring them downtown.
So something like that I think is really good too, because people don't know the history, but having more placards on the ground and things like that, so where people can walk and actually read that,
Okay.
outside of his place. This
And
previous to Scotty's Chop House.
maybe a monument, to piggyback on Sam's idea, a monument that lists with a map, that lists what those placards are and where they're located, so they can see them on the map and
And they go
It
to.
gives people something to do to walk and learn about.
No,
each
that's a
business
great
on
idea.
Main Street. and you have placards on it. So for instance, at the palace, there's one in there that says this is the first commercial building in Porterville. You know,
Okay.
outside of Serrano's Furniture, the homestead. The founder of this town.
This is a really good list. You guys want to keep going?
But it gives some people something to do, like the people walking
All
around.
right, so we were at Stan. I'm sorry, Sam. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead.
No, I really love that idea. I'm sorry I talked over you. So Stan, you got one on the board. Lucy, you have any more? Pass.
I think it goes without saying, but transparency.
Transparency. Let's just write that along the side there.
And what I mean by that, maybe information filtering from the city as far as economic development. What are they doing to help drive business downtown? Because honestly, I don't know. So, and I don't know how I would get that information. So I think if we have something that when they go to their big conventions to help draw business in, big box and chain stores and stuff like that, it'd be nice to know what are they doing to bring business to downtown.
Okay, very good. So this is, there's a gap. We all know there's a big gap. The newspaper doesn't do it, social media doesn't do it. So if we have some regular things that we communicate on, that's what you mean by this too, right? It's transparency, but it's also current events or updates and things like that, right?
Newsletters, yeah.
Well, that might be something we can get together, because all of us have pull with a recorder, because we all advertise with. So we might get them to start listing happening downtown this week.
Yeah.
They do a pretty good job of
They
it, but it
do.
doesn't get to everybody.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
So I think they do a decent job of putting the events in there. But how do we get it out to everybody?
Most of the time, my complaints about their events are there after they've happened. A good example is blood drives here in town. I have a very desirable blood type for the blood people. They call me all the time. I haven't given blood in years because they closed down the blood place over by the chamber thing. And I used to go regularly and give blood. But since then, I haven't given blood because I'm gonna go Monday, because I found this out in advance. The Elks Lodge Monday morning is having a blood drive. So I'll go give blood this Monday. But most of the time, I don't hear about the blood drive until after the blood drive's over. And they put a notice in the paper, there was a blood drive. Well, why didn't you put it in before the blood drive instead of after? So there are some issues there as far as the events go.
I agree, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like there's, they got several pictures and this happened on last Friday or
Right.
something, you're going like, well,
Well, why didn't I know about
yeah.
it? You know? So I think we need to work more about getting the word out before something happens.
Communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of times in 10 years being on Main Street, you come down Main Street and it's closed down and you have no idea why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's cop
yeah.
night out, it's this night out, it's this.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
What the hell's going on here today?
We've been talking about making a podcast or something where the city just regularly pumps out information. So it's push, and because right now we have a system that's it's a diode, do it your own damn self, where you have to go look it up. And that's why a lot of people don't know about it, because they're not looking it up. Now, that's okay as a reference, but we need to push out information. And I think we'll come up with a way to do that, but the city is talking about that now too.
The city of Porterville also has a marquee out on off the prospect that announces events and things that are.
That's true.
Why don't we have a marquee downtown that either mirrors that? Because I'll drive by there and went, oh, I didn't know that was out, you know.
I forget about that because I don't drive over there that much, but yeah, you're right, they do have a
How do you
good
spell
one in front of the city hall
Or
or the city yard.
Kind of along the same idea as the music downtown too, where you can actually
you
have
could make
a
announcements.
little blip in between songs and.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, I like that
Strategically
idea.
place it, where would, something like that.
Oh, right in front of my store.
Yeah, well, of course.
You don't get to do the lips though.
I don't, I don't.
No. If you go beep, beep, beep.
Well, I was told yesterday by a gentleman back east I was talking to that I sound like James Earl Jones, so maybe I should do Bible verses.
You should do that.
Oh,
Okay.
give you some good.
This is a great list. So we're fleshing out the mission, we're fleshing out the vision. Let's keep going until we get more passes. That you, Tom, Rob, you have anything else?
Ah. You know, I said it earlier, I was thinking about, kind of a unique theme. And how we could somehow define the downtown experience.
Okay,
It all falls under unity and purpose, I think, the more I think about it. So I guess I don't have anything new, just
okay.
more, more defined.
I'm just gonna add another word, downtown experience, okay?
But the unique theme, I guess, can be something like we bring local history meets innovation, or something like that. Something funny like that as a downtown kind of a thing. And then almost all this stuff would fall under that. And then you could easily strategize how you're gonna do that from going back to the unity, maybe a welcome packet for a new business that opens up downtown. Not just the chamber stuff, but something that here, you're now downtown. This is from all of us downtown merchants that care about you. This is our theme. This is sort of what we expect from you. And if you look at the real successful downtowns, and I said you guys will even say that, they lead more just by peer pressure, for lack of a better word, than anything else.
But it's culture, it's a driven, so,
The message is the same and it's always the same.
right, so I like this, so now we fleshed this out really well, and we'll spend a couple more minutes on it, but we're gonna create the framework here. And we wanna empower people to operate it, and then we wanna do things to get these things in motion. That'll be what we set our goals on. So just setting expectations here. We're setting the vision of what we like to see. We can expand on it, but this is where we like to start. This is what's on top of mind, but it's the framework and the vision, and then everyone can work towards the same goal, to your point about peer pressure, because it's a consistent message. It says, here's what we want to be when we grow up, and here's what we're going to do, and these things will line up together. And the culture will, we hope, to take on a life of its own, and we hope to do it within a couple of years. And I want to set some expectations with you guys, because change is hard for people. It'll take a while to get people to come down here. Any big culture change takes at least 1 to 3 years. We're now getting the place in order to where you can come down here and get the place fixed up. But now we've got to do some things to get people down here and keep them down here. And that will take some time. So I want you guys to be thinking about this on both short-term goals and long-term goals when we get to that point. Sam, you got any more?
Yep, I'm gonna be the thorn in everybody's side.
Okay,
Less regulation.
okay, that's right here.
We want
Yeah.
more regulation, but I don't think we need more regulation. People need to do the right thing, like I have an empty building, somebody wanted to rent it, they wanted to put a coffee shop in it. I said, no, because Rob already does coffee. That's a common sense thing. You wouldn't want to burn your needle. So that's why I wouldn't do that. I don't need somebody to tell me to be a good person and look out for my neighbor. I already know to look out for my neighbor. Regulation wise. So if I want, and you guys know, you guys are doing a block party. If you want to do a block party, you have to have a 60-day notice with the city. You got to have a nonprofit support you, and then you have to have a $2 million insurance policy. So if I wanted to do something, say my 10-year anniversary is coming up, and I wanted to do one night, I got to come up with all this stuff to be able to put live music out on the street and do something. So it's hard for me to even want to do it. Why would I want to do something downtown? Why would I want to do more entertainment downtown? Because it's too hard to go to the city and work with the city to get anything.
So there's a couple, let me pick that apart. I like this line of thinking because less regulation is good. And we're going to put it on and we're going to pursue that. I think there's an opportunity here to set expectations too, because that policy can be changed, right? We take it to the council and make recommendations, but when we shut down Main Street, which I think a lot of us enjoy and some of us don't, but the vast majority do, we have to set up the traffic pattern and we've got to spend a bunch of money as a city. That's why they have the lead time. And so if we make it consistent where it's kind of easier to do that more often, I think that takes some of the pressure off of the city. And then the city needs to look at ways that we might be able to make that easier. So an individual like yourself is having a hard time, but maybe collectively with the block parties, it becomes something that melts together. We have to figure that out together, right? But I totally understand where I'm not trying to defend the city. I'm just trying to say there's an expense to it and resources that we have to apply to it. And that's why they have the lead time. because they gotta do there's a whole bunch of stuff they have to do for anti-terrorism and traffic patterns and things like that, that they're good at it, but it takes time to do.
I got it bad if you want me to take our anti-terror.
I know, we heard about this in the last meeting. All right, so Sam, I hope that's not trying to defend the city. I hope that answers some of what
Something to
you
talk about.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, it would need to be easy, it needs to be easier for us to do these things that we want to do.
And it is definitely an issue because even planning the block party, we run into some roadblocks. It's happening, but it's difficult.
So we gotta make it easier. Okay, I'm hearing you loud and clear. David, you have any more?
No, I think we've touched on just about everything.
Okay,
You know, I think we got some good ideas there and it's a good base to start with. And like you said, we can always expand on it later and take it further than we are right now. But you've got to have a starting point. And I think these are great starting points here. I love Rob's idea about having music playing downtown. You're right. I think that would create the right atmosphere downtown, make it more friendly to people to come. And like Larissa said, she was in Visalia or wherever it was, and they had music playing, and the song stuck in her head for a week. You know, I have that happen to me in my car sometimes because I'll hear a song on the radio and then it's going through my head. And one day my wife's like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "Oh, I got such and such."
I think I like the idea of the music. I do foresee some challenges in that because just walking down here today, there is a big speaker sitting on the curb with music playing of a certain genre. And I think you're going to have to be, I don't know how we can be inclusive of different genres of music.
we'll tackle it. And so that's certainly an opportunity that people want to be individuals. Stan?
No, I was just gonna tell David that those songs that get stuck in your head, those are the ones you usually hate. God, I can't stand that song that sticks in your head.
All right, so before we move on, is there any other input on our brainstorming for the mission and the vision?
One thing, I'm just coming up with the word cohesion, which is already kind of
Cohesion.
there.
Cohesion, I like that word.
However, another thing, I passed out a flyer yesterday for Redo It. We're just trying to get everybody downtown to decorate scarecrows for the month of October. So that when people come downtown, there's a cohesive appearance in between all the business windows.
Okay,
So I brought a flyer. I
All right.
shared it yesterday with everybody downtown, but I did bring it. Just cohesion and trying to get everybody to look like we're all working
And
together.
we're all on the same page.
So-
Yes.
I like this line of thinking, and I'm gonna add to what you said. There's a lot of people that are trying to get things done right now, even before we get started with the committee, right? I am also working with the museum and the Heritage Committee, and we're gonna be working with Chamber. We're gonna also be working with the city to create a master calendar. Because next year, we want to enhance all of the events around the city to be more patriotic, because we're gonna celebrate our 250th and more heritage minded. This will play into what we'd like to do too. But the cohesion is going to come because we're all gonna be working off a similar calendar. And then if we have an event, then we can all work towards that event. So it'll be difficult, I think, to get everybody's ideas into that cohesion, but I want to establish that framework that says if we're all consistent together and we're communicating and we're transparent and we push this out, then it isn't just a flyer that we're passing around. It's a flyer plus we're pushing it out, and those things will create the cohesion.
Can the city have not a flyer, but a schedule that they can give to each business that we can post on our front door so that customers can see what's going
Good
on
idea.
in downtown Porterville? Instead of a sign that I don't, on a road that I don't drive down.
Chamber used to have a calendar too that they would, but we could subscribe to or.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to consolidate those,
And
right.
all of those.
Right.
Can the city, would it be an electronic calendar is what you're thinking, or is
The interesting thing is that everybody has them,
nobody?
and we're in the electronic age. Now we just need to get it out to everybody. So let's try to figure out how we can pull them together and make that easier for everyone and post them to Sam's point. I don't know if we'll have to tackle the idea when we close the road, but the marquee is a good idea plus. And so I think all those things work together. All right, great brainstorming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize all this back to you guys as committee members. And I'm going to ask you guys to help us to rank and flesh this out so that we have a clear mission and vision. And then we're going to start looking at goals in the next meeting on how we can accomplish these things.
The city just needs to kick in a bunch of money to all this.
There you go, write a check.
What?
I'm not gonna say anything about your nationality.
Just throw money out. Although there's my gift.
All right, thanks, you guys. All right, so there's some other items on here. I did want to spend a lot of time on this because this sets the foundation. It sets the table for all of us, gives us some things to think about when we're not in the meeting. Because we want to get stuff done when we're not in these meetings. There's a lot of time in between the meetings. And so hopefully as we flesh out the goals and they match up to the vision, that then we can start having things that are getting done in between meetings and we'll start tasking and doing.
And
some
did you
things.
say you're going to send out a little something with all that on there?
Yeah, so there's a lot here. I didn't know what I was gonna get today. I was gonna have you guys vote on them and rank them, but these are all good ideas that we fleshed out together. So I'm just gonna bring it out to you and summarize it, okay?
Are you gonna email it out before?
Yes,
Perfect.
we'll have the staff get that out to you guys, and then we can chop on it and make it.
Okay, what are your emails? How are they sent? So I know how to look them up.
Fernando, we have everybody's email.
Yes,
We can push this out to all of you and then
you're not getting, because I don't know why. Are you saying that you don't?
I don't know where to find them. What name are they under?
Mine, so it's at Gabriel Moraga.
It's Gabriel Moraga?
Yeah.
I gave you a broken crayon.
He did.
Here, I can go ahead and give
There you
you,
go.
let me get you my card instead.
Okay, that'll work. Cause that way I can put it into search and it'll just come up. I'm not a computer guy. I'm one of these old guys who didn't do technology. So the only time I look at my emails is if somebody says, hey, I sent you an email. Then I'll go look.
So let me just go through this again with you guys, if you have this in front of you. So we covered a lot of ground here. I skipped the maps, and we're gonna do that next. I already talked about number 3, which is expectations on where we are. Number 4 and number 5, I want to put those in the next meeting. We'll talk about those more in the next meeting when we have the vision behind us. And so I want you guys, the homework is that we'll push those into the next meeting along with, because goals and objectives were the next follow on for this. We're tired already. Let's make sure we're fresh on the next one. I don't want to rush into anything. And then I'd like to ask you guys to be thinking about what you think those goals might be as we get this out to you, so that we'll be ready to start setting goals and objectives in the next meeting. Is that fair?
Yes.
Comments, concerns, questions? All right, the last thing I'd like to do, Fernando, as we're going through this, is I'd like to take a look at the maps that we have. That Fernando was able to pull together these maps that have the north, the middle, and the south of Main Street. And I want to get you guys familiarized with these maps. So let's just get up from the table, stretch your legs. Let's come and look at these maps together and learn a few things and look at the perspective from a bird's eye view, because this will help us as we go into goals and objectives to understand some of the parameters and things that we might want to change. And I said in the last meeting that if there are areas where we want to expand or contract with a certain zoning, then we should talk about that and make recommendations in this committee. And I would like to also think about, and we didn't put this on here, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit. We didn't put parking on here.
Well, we talked about that last time.
We did talk about it already, so.
Well, and I think because it goes back to the lights, the safety, I mean, it's
Yeah.
all the input, that's more infrastructure on the city side of it, so we're
Yes.
more about.
I'll take the lead on that, but I want to make sure we're having a conversation together too, and that is that I believe, and I said this last time, that a lot of the parking needs to be behind Main Street. We need to be looking at all of our parking. And so when you look at the maps, let's look at our options for parking behind Main Street, and we'll set expectations, because if we're going to get more people down here, everybody's going to be having to park, and a lot of it's going to be behind Main Street. So let's make that a priority in our thinking. If you park in the middle of the Walmart parking lot and you got to walk 50 yards, that's the same as parking behind a building.
Thank you.
For some reason, the public doesn't look at it like that. But you're right. Because I get people that complain, well, I had to park on the other block. Okay, so you walked half a block.
Just think if there was music to listen to while you walk.
There you go. Rob's got the solution.
It's,
Fernando, can you explain the colors?
it's all be whistling as
Yeah.
well.
Well, so all of the colors are different zoning in the downtown area. Obviously, the one in the middle is the more actual downtown of the three. This encompasses the north side of downtown, and this is the other one on the right. It's gonna be all the way down to where the river's at. The legend right here is a little small, so I apologize. We can try to get something this a little bigger next time. But obviously you have your purple zones, which are general and service commercial. You have your brown zones over here, which are going to be the retail north. And then you have like several different other ones as well. We did try to encapsulate a lot of the outside portions of it. I know it's not really necessary to have them, but it is kind of gives you a bird's eye view of what the bounding of there is as well. And then I made some smaller miniature ones that you can take with you as well.
Is the light, what is the light blue on?
The light blue is going to be retail south of Olive. So it is a DRS zone. I'm not sure what the difference of a DRS zone is to a DRN zone, other than it probably is just a zone, meaning that it's.
Downtown retail versus downtown service?
I believe it might just be something that's shaded as south rather than like north. So you have your because right here you have retail north of Olive, DRN, and then you have DRS, retail south of Olive. As far as what the difference is between the two, I'm not entirely sure, other than it might just be where they're located at.
North and south.
Yeah.
So before we get into more detailed discussion there, I just summarize what I'd like to do, but we need to vote on it.
Oh.
So are you guys okay? I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we move items 4 and 5 to the next meeting.
I'll second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. So we'll bring back and we'll start working on goal setting in the next meeting. Now, Fernando, I'll segue back now. Can you send these digitally on the email?
Yes, I can.
So give you guys a little bit of a bird's eye view. You get to see them here, but we can send them with the action items from the meeting to you guys, so you can look at them on your computer. And you can see more detail, I think, on that.
For
Is this
people
the
that are more
agency?
mature. Sure, it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get my jewelry glasses
so
to see
that's
that.
something that we will have to work with GIS to get that legend. Just
We'll do our best and
We'll
then
do our best to try to get that enlarged.
Is this the Aegis site?
It's part of it, yes.
AEGS?
Yeah, so you're actually, there is a component on our website that you can actually see the zones as well. It's probably a lot more like user friendly to have to, because you can zoom in, you can kind of see things in more detail. I can always send these PDFs. I mean, I will send these PDFs so that way you have them. Just keep in mind that when the PDFs were generated, they were generated for this large of a format. So I don't know how much issues you might have with them because of that. But we'll do our best to get that over. But yeah, there is a component on our website that you can look at.
And you'll include.
And I can include the link into that as well. Find that.
Are we doing good on time? We're at an hour. You guys doing okay?
I have a question about the different colors and the actual definition of what general and commercial actually means versus retail, and if there are any limitations on the retail side to do more commercial and vice versa. I mean,
Okay.
what are the restrictions when it comes to these?
I'm
different-
starting to learn this now, Rob, and I just asked our interim city manager to go get a planner. I'm gonna explain that to you.
Okay.
So that we can get a better idea, because it'll take some time to digest this. The book is this big. Regulations, we're trying to make it simple. Oscar, hello. Hey, we're gonna put you on the spot. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
Oscar.
I guess
Everyone, this is Oscar.
Hi, Oscar.
I asked her.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Oscar.
Questions about zoning?
Can you further define the zoning differences for each color?
All right,
Well,
so
mainly the business side of it, like not the residential side of it.
So we have a downtown general service commercial. This is more for uses that may have an impact in the area. You're able to open up like auto repair shops, limited industrial uses in those zone districts. We have downtown mixed use, that you can have a mix of residential, office, commercial within the same area. Let me see what we have. Downtown professional office. Here, of course, it's more for office uses. We do allow other uses in conjunction with that. For example, beauty salons, personal services, instructional services is also instructional services is like karate classes, right? That's something, or what you call
Zumba.
Zumba. Yes, thank you. We have here downtown retail north, of course, retail uses. Is what the zoning is more for, but again, we have other uses that could be permitted, office, instructional services. Downtown retail also allows residential uses, ground floor, and second story residential uses. Ground floor only on Main Street, for residential uses will require conditional use permit. Second floor won't require that. What else do we have? We have RS2, which is low density residential. It allows single family development within that zone district. And again, we have general service commercial similar to downtown general service commercial.
What's the blue in the middle?
Here,
The blue.
The
Right
blue.
by your finger.
For office, I think
that's
those
gonna
are,
be public and semi-public uses. A lot of times, the city zones our own city-owned property will designate as public and semi-public uses. You also have like, for example, the museum would fall under that category, the library.
The blue that you first pointed out is the transit center.
This one, okay, yeah.
And then museums right there, okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there in the blue, yeah.
Any other specific questions we have?
They sort of all bleed, all the retail from one zone to the other, looks like they can all bleed over into other uses, from what I'm hearing. So like you said, downtown retail primarily is retail, but it could host offices, it could host residential. So it could be a mixed use as well.
Correct.
There's quite a few here. We're wrangling this right now to try to simplify it because it's very complex, and I think we've cut it in half so far with a lot of the redundancy that's in the current code. So we'll be providing some information for this committee and the whole community once that's refined.
What does the code establish? Who establishes these
The general
distinctions?
plan.
Yes, it'll go back to our general plan, which was adopted in 2008.
And how often is that revised?
It gets revised sometime whenever we get applications for general plan amendments.
Okay.
The last time we did a revision was last year when we added some elements to the general plan, like the environmental justice. I can't remember what the second one was.
But we're due to look at it again, and it's certainly something that we're reviewing. The new council has asked the team to review to make it easier for all of you and others in the city to not only interpret, but to operate. Because there's a lot of, over time, it's become quite a monster. Oscar, thank you so much for coming in.
Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, so
I want to show everybody that I am smarter than this. You have to turn the end.
Well, it took you a few minutes, but.
how much of that did you miss?
Your attention span got lost there, David.
okay, so Fernando, do we have any other items? Are we missing anything?
We do have item number 3, the infrastructure and policy updates. I don't know.
Okay, so I went through the lighting and the construction. I didn't go through in a detailed You wanna, does anybody need more on that?
Well, you've got in here the sign ordinance changes. What is,
Oh.
what is?
Yeah. So the council is reviewing all of the sign ordinances right now and updating them, so there'll be some changes coming.
Business signs, you mean? On
All the
buildings?
signs
All
in the whole city.
The whole city?
Yeah.
Actually, a public hearing last council meeting with the first reading,
Okay.
or at least updated some wording.
So along the lines of the discussion here today about regulation, a lot of the sign ordinances have been relaxed. And so we'll be talking about that too, I'm sure in this committee, because this is a focal point for downtown and it will impact our signing downtown as well. But this is a great opportunity to continue to have these discussions and figure out where it's appropriate to relax and to Sam's point, to deregulate and empower people. But we have to be careful that we don't go too far. And so it's a balancing act. So as we go through this, we'll learn together areas of opportunity. Hopefully we don't create any problems through that process that we can't immediately solve. That would be my pitch. So I think on that, if you guys want to talk about sign ordinances and stuff in the next meeting, I would recommend maybe we get the goals and then we start looking at the ordinances and things after we get the goal setting done. Anybody have any input on that?
I'm sort of interested if, I mean, as it carries over into the downtown and making sure we have cohesiveness, is there a way that we can get a copy of the public hearing report or anything that was
The sign ordinance?
for the site ordinance?
Sure, we
Was there a
can,
transcript or minutes or anything?
What is it that you're looking for?
The sign, I guess the discussions regarding sign ordinances citywide, not just downtown wide, since it sounds like it all rolls over, is there a transcript or something that we can prepare
You can-
for
you
discussion
can-
next meeting?
Oh, so you can go back to the YouTube from the last meeting and watch. We had a discussion in the hearing, you can see it. And then we have them published also.
Yeah, so it was on a schedule, it was a scheduled matter, so we will be taking it for a public hearing at the second meeting of September.
Okay.
So when that goes out, we'll figure out from then, after that meeting, what we'll have for that.
It's really important if anybody has concerns and not just folks in this room, people that might be watching at home. If you have some concerns or some ideas or some feedback, that public hearing is the time to do that so that we can all work together and get it done.
And that's gonna be the second council meeting of the month, next month.
Correct. So my understanding is that it will be at the second meeting of September. So you'll see it going out with the agenda, the item to bring that forward for a first reading. I believe you'll have the draft ordinance are there as well, so that way you can review that as well. And then we'll have the public hearing I believe it's the 16th, right?
And so the process, so you guys understand it, the first discussion is to get it out there and get it on the agenda. And then go open it up for a public hearing so everyone can weigh in on it. And then we move it forward. So you guys have an opportunity to get involved in that if that's something you guys are really interested in, or pass the word to anybody. We're really trying to get more engagement on the city council. We don't have enough, in my opinion. So spread the word.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, I would just suggest, if you can go to our city website and opt in for our city council news updates. So whenever we do get the agenda out, you'll be on that news listing or that listing that sends you an email whenever the agenda does go out. If you haven't already done that already. And if you need any, you need a link to that or something like that, provide that as well.
So Fernando, when you send that out, if you could send a link to Katie, that would be great.
Yeah.
If anybody else want that link?
I think I could just incorporate everything as far as, what we were gonna send out with the maps, and the links, and we can all do it in one, so that way everybody has that.
That's a good plan. Okay. Yes, go
In
ahead.
regard to events that we would like to try to bring downtown, Christmas is around the corner. I know we have a Christmas tree lighting ceremony.
Yeah.
Do we have a Santa, pictures with Santa in the Centennial Park? At what point in time should we start worrying about that? Is that not our discussion here?
We can do that in here, and I think it's a good point to bring up because we're heading into the fall season. So we're gonna have a lot of events. We have a lot of holidays coming up that where downtown is front and center. We've got the Veterans Day Parade and we've got the Christmas Parade. and whatever else we've got going on. You want to bring that to the next meeting too and go through the fall?
When are we gonna start celebrating?
We're gonna start this year because of you, Dave.
There's 6 of us in town that would like to celebrate.
Maybe we need to.
You can host it.
We have guilt for you.
I did say, okay, one night, offering
Buck a piece.
punch, I just
Okay.
curious where.
No, I think it's a good topic because this committee should weigh in on that and look at some real time stuff. So if you could add the fall calendar to the next meeting that we have, then we can all talk about it together.
Yeah, and maybe we should piggyback on the Christmas tree lighting. I mean, it's sort of central in one event, and then we don't.
Maybe bring more people
Mhm.
down, because I normally don't, even though it's happening, I see the paper the next day.
Right.
So again, it's communication, cohesive, and get everybody out there.
I think that's a good point. You know, there was a few years ago where several different businesses downtown had Santa,
Mhm.
sometimes on the same night. I don't know how we did it.
A lot of sense.
But you know, it just cannibalized the whole thing. you know.
Well, I was
Okay.
thinking, what if we had one Santa and then somebody else maybe had the Grinch and somebody else maybe had Elf?
Well,
Well,
I
that's
love
good.
the cohesiveness would be that we had them on different days, and so
Different
you
days.
get more people coming on more
Yeah,
often,
true.
right?
But I like the Grinch.
Like,
You have somebody who can be the Grinch?
Sure,
Grinch.
I have a hot but
That's Sam's the Grinch.
And we can move, and we can move business to business. Could be Rob's one night, Larissa's another night. Just move the location. Santa, so maybe through the whole holiday season, if somebody was busy Tuesday night and couldn't come to Rob's Santa.
I'll be the Grinch too, Sam, and you will be Grinches.
Well, we can be Frosty the Snowman there.
Very cold, yeah.
I like
We
this.
celebrate Christmas my wife and son celebrate Christmas in my house.
Totally.
You're very multicultural.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? My wife is so ornery though. Christmas morning, we get up and I put on my, go to my chair and they bring me 2 tamales with 2 fried eggs, chili. And I take pictures of them opening their presents. But she won't take the corn husks off the tamales on Christmas Day.
Well, if that wouldn't Frosty.
Because
I
you
don't
need
know.
something unwrapped.
Exactly.
I know why she's doing, you need to unwrap something, whether it's a.
That's her way of
tamale.
making me unwrap something on Christmas.
This team can walk and chew gum at the same time. Great suggestion. We'll work on some real-time stuff as we do our goal setting for the overall vision. Great meeting today. Does anybody else have anything? Let's go around. Kate, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Rod?
Is there any way that we can communicate with each other as a group other than just email?
Great question.
We have everyone's
You
phone
wanna-
numbers and stuff.
You wanna text
Do a text.
a group text?
Absolutely. What do you?
I don't have your number.
I can give it to you. No problem. So if you guys want to do a group text, I think group texts work pretty good. I just turned my ringer off because
I just think, I mean, guys like Dave can probably look at a text and wouldn't.
I do know, and like my companies I do business with know, they'll send me a text, go look at your email.
Yeah.
And then I know to go look.
I mean, kind of protocol that way, right? I mean, if you get a text, you know you're gonna look at it. That's kind of important. If it's just information or something you want to remember.
Just,
See.
Rob, you want to
email.
volunteer to be the leader of that and start that?
Yeah, everybody just give me your number. That's
And important.
before you
things,
go.
we don't need 25 texts an hour.
Please.
And you don't have to say, I got the message, or you
Whatever
don't,
you want to be.
Yeah,
right?
just-
simple.
Hey, meeting tomorrow, everybody remember.
So don't leave without giving me your name.
You don't have to put LOL or any of that stuff. We don't need all that.
One
extra
text.
stuff.
Unless you.
I got
need a
Larissa and I got
response, you better
Katie.
indicate that you need.
Mine?
You've got
I have yours.
483-0904. Put it on record. I don't know what.
And maybe when you,
I don't know. I can
Everybody's on.
do that right now with all this going on.
that's not, everybody's on.
when you send the first one, if everybody could reply, this is me,
need to change
Okay.
coordinate phone numbers.
Wait, reply with your name.
Reply with your name. So everybody else has it in their phone. We can all save each other's number.
I got,
There's Stan's. You have to write it down.
Yeah, because I don't have my phone with me and I don't know what it is anyway.
I got certain things that I do remember. One is my cell phone, the other is my driver's license, and my social security number.
I got everybody.
All the important stuff.
And how much money you got?
My wife has all that.
Yeah, right.
She makes me think I'm in.
Still going around? Sam, any other comments? You okay?
No, I think we're good. I think we covered a lot today, actually.
Terrific. Any comments from the peanut gallery? What do you guys think? Any suggestions? Concerns?
We're doing great.
No, I was
Okay.
gonna bring up the Oscar's colorblind, a little colorblind, so if I get to the.
I was thinking
Okay,
that.
that's an alibi.
We
We got an alibi.
I was thinking he had to be, poor guy. was.
He's looking at it.
You know, all you city people stick together. That's.
We
That's cohesiveness.
Separate them next meeting.
I really,
To that list, please. Your chat.
To the group?
To the group.
I don't know.
I don't know, what do you guys think?
Come on, guys.
Let's vote on it.
All right.
Vote on
I might have you,
I guess in the committee.
I might have yours already, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
you do. 350. I don't want to say it.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to say.
One of these then.
Do it after the meeting.
All right.
Everybody can see everything. That's great.
thank you all for coming. I trust the 9 a.m. is okay, so we'll do it again in a month. Is it 9:30? Is 9:30 okay? We did that for David's sake, if I remember right.
So let's put it. I'll make it.
Let's get it in there.
You did a lot better after you had your coffee.
I did. I gotta wake up.
So it'll be September 25th,
Correct.
4th.
25th of September.
So Fernando, you'll send out a meeting invitation on that too?
Yes.
All right, terrific. So there's nothing else. I will call this meeting adjourned.